This is the Shawn Yankey Show.
And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack.
This episode of the Shawn Yankey Show is being brought to you by the support of viewers like me. We realize the importance of independent media and truth in this time of mass deceit and propaganda. We have decided to fight for and support it to keep it alive. You can help us in this fight for truth. Contribute at patreon.com/Shawn Yankey. Thanks for coming to the show. It'll begin soon.
Hey everybody, get in here. It is time again for the Shawn Yankey Show. Welcome back. It is Tuesday night, and around here that means motivation. But this is a discussion-driven chat show, and while I may know where we're going to start out, I don't ever really know where we're going to end up. And we're going to get started in just a minute, but first I want to say hello to our newest live platform. We're going out now to Facebook, YouTube, and now Rumble. It is our first show on Rumble. So hello, Rumble. And let me say hello to all of our live viewers and get our conversation going. Like I said, it always revolves around the comments. And please say hello and take part. I really want to hear from you. Hey, Lee. Hey, Dolores. How are you? And Joan. Good to see you. Lolly. Chris George. Good to see you. Tracy. Patricia. Aaron. Nora. Dion, all right. Patricia asks, going to ditch VK for Rumble. I guess so. Actually, I may come back to VK. I really am thinking about ditching YouTube for VK. I don't know what you guys think about that. I was going to ask you about that tonight. But Rumble, I think, is a good way to go for a couple different reasons. We'll get into that more a little later on. And thank you, John. I appreciate you saying that. Please like and share this out. Get this out everywhere. Sharing is caring. We're just a little independent show, completely dependent on you. Speaking of, if you can help to support our show and help us to grow and get out to even more places and then reach our eventual goal of streaming from the website, support our show by visiting theshawnyankeyshow.com and the Support Us tab. There's many ways to do so, and we'll get into some of those too later on. We got a lot of stuff to get into, though, so we got to go ahead and get started. Hey, Holly. And it looks like, I don't know if we're good on Rumble. Is anybody here from there? I haven't seen a comment from there yet, but I'm not sure if it's working. This is our first time there. It was a little different setting up, and they're new to live streaming, but I'm hoping it's working out. I'm visiting it now just to check on it. It says it's live. Let's see what's going on Rumble. I'm just going to, there I am. All right. We're on Rumble. Cool. And it says 5 people are there. Looks like there's some comments. Hey, Night Owl. Good to see you. Lee's here on Rumble. Lee's always everywhere. Lee is a rock star. Thank you for all your support, Lee, and everyone else who shares and likes and tells their friends and does all you can to get us out. This will be one more place, give us another chance to build an audience and get a foothold. It's getting harder and harder, but I want to try this out. They're new to it, and they're working the kinks out too, probably. But I feel like eventually they'll get it fixed, and we'll be pulling in their comments too. But I'll check in there from time to time. And, hello, everybody. Hey, Terry, Dolores. More people are coming in. That's good. All right, because we got a lot to do, like I said. So I want to get us started as soon as possible. There's a lot of madness going on in our world, and we discuss it to the best of our ability each night right here on this show. And we all know what's happening. We're aware of it. We know what's going on. We see it, deal with it every day. And there's a lot for us to get into and discuss tonight. Some of it unpleasant, like forced experimental medical procedures, massive false flags, and an onslaught of assorted other negative vibrational bullshit that is thrown at us constantly and from all angles. But a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight is positive. That's what we do on Tuesday nights. We work on ourselves, and we do our best to shine a light onto this world of darkness. And we focus on what matters and what's truly important. We recharge ourselves and center ourselves on Tuesdays. And we do that because you have to. It's not because it's nice to do. It's essential. You must begin from within. We are leaders, essentially, in a great awakening of humanity that is heading towards the climax of a spiritual war in which we will emerge victorious. I really believe that, and we will do that through sheer determination and force of will. We can make this world how we want it to be, and we will. We will be victorious in what's coming. And that is why we spend a night each week focusing on ourselves. Because it really does all start there. It's a simple but crucially important truth that everyone needs to learn until you believe it to your very core. You can do anything that you set your mind to. If you can envision it, you can achieve it. Nobody can stop you. Most of the time, you end up stopping yourself. You talk yourself out of things. You convince yourself things aren't possible. But this is true. What we talk about on Tuesdays, bettering yourself, focusing on yourself, correcting your thoughts, training yourself on the positive instead of the negative. All the things we're going to get into tonight, among other things, but we're going to focus on the positive. That's what you must do. And train yourself to do it and work on it constantly, repetitively, until it's just habit, until it's normal and natural. And even then, you still need to focus on it because you can slip away. And we all know that the world outside of our windows looks much different from the one being portrayed on television. And we know that that's because they invest a great deal into convincing us that the world is a way that it isn't, and that people are a way that they actually aren't, and tricking us into looking away from the important to focus instead on the meaningless. But it's fake. It's a lie. That's the beautiful thing. That's the truth. It's strong. It's powerful. Do not ever underestimate the forces that are working against us here in this reality. The never-ending assault that we're under can become overwhelming. And that is why you must constantly reinforce the truth of the situation and strengthen your faith and belief in yourself and your potential to make real change in yourself and this world. Now, I chose a video from our own motivational collection for us to watch together. And after that video, we will discuss this topic further, as well as anything else that y'all want to talk about, anything at all, as always. I just want to get into this and make it clear, that you have to keep focusing on your end goal and not so much the struggles in reaching it. So let's watch this video together, and then afterwards I will be back with you to hang out and discuss this further. This is the Shawn Yankey Show. It's Tuesday night, and this video is Eyes on the Prize from our motivational collection. You can find all of our videos on Gab TV, as now where they live. I'll probably be uploading more to Rumble now too, and putting them there as well. It can't hurt anything to have them in other places. But right now they're all on Gab TV, and you can find them there. Let's watch this video and I'll be right back afterwards for more. I want to explain a simple truth to you if you are trying to accomplish anything in this life. Life will try to stop you. Things will get in your way. It'll get hard. People will discourage you. You may even want to give up. But you have got to keep your eyes focused on your destination, no matter what obstacle stands in your way on your path towards it. Hold it in your mind and don't let anything, absolutely nothing and nobody take it away from you, ever. It is your life. Live your dreams. Do what you want to do. Achieve what you want to achieve. Go for it. Don't let anyone stop you. Don't let this negative existence, this evil world hold you down. Rise above it. Do as you want to do. Don't live in this negative vibration. Rise above it to a positive one. There is never going to be anything done about the negative in this world until we rise above it. We can have a better world. You can have better things. You can accomplish these things you want to do. We can make massive change. All of this is possible. Any of it. Everything you want to accomplish, you can do it. It is yours. If you own your destiny and go out and get it, because life will get hard. This is truth motivation after all, so I will be honest and break the fourth wall to admit that I'm currently dealing with resistance from life in my own path, and you very well may be too, and that is fine and even normal. Remember that, always. It's normal. It is normal to have problems. It is normal to run into obstacles on your way to accomplishing things, to doing things. If nothing is getting in your way, I can guarantee that you're not trying to do anything. Because if you are, things will try to interfere. Life has a way of getting in yours, especially if you're trying to do anything, if you're trying to make something happen. And doubly so if it rises above the negative energy that runs this world. You try to rise above that, to live a positive life, to be happy, to live the way you want to, things will get in your way. Things will interfere, whether it be people, life itself. Life can get pretty creative when it wants to fuck you over. But when life knocks you down, and I say life to be general, I'm speaking of any obstacle that you may meet along your path. People, things, circumstances, limitations, life, all of it. When those things, whatever they may be, get in your way, revisit your goal in your mind. Not the loss of it, but having it, achieving it. Imagine accomplishing your goal and living in that world while you refocus your mind to keep going. And remember what you'll lose if you don't. Because life will make its best efforts to stop you, to break you down. Only fighters rise above that. Only people that are willing to fight back against the negative energy and the negative influences and the negative mentality that we're surrounded by are able to rise above it, are able to do better. And they do that by having a deep belief in themselves, a deep belief that it is possible, that they can make it happen. And then they push through these obstacles. It's not that things don't happen to them. They do. It's what they do when those things happen. So when life knocks you down, get back up and keep getting back up until you can't be knocked down anymore. Because you can become an unstoppable force in this world. You have infinite potential and can accomplish anything that you set your mind and can accomplish anything that you set your mind to do. And I don't care what it is. Again, big or small, it applies to it all. You can do it. You have it inside of you right now. And if you unlock it and live in it with courage and determination, nothing and I mean nothing, can stand in your way. Everything that will try to stop you, and again, it will, only has the power that you give it. Yeah, I can see there's examples I could think of right now that would throw a wrench in my plans. But would I let them stop me? Would I let them make me give up? Or would I just become more creative? Do I want this world that I've imagined? Do I want to live there? Do I want to make it real? The answer to all those questions is yes, so absolutely nothing would make me stop. Nothing. Nobody. And that's the way you've got to be. And when these things happen, because the bigger the thing that you're trying to do, the more things will get in your way. And the bigger those things may be. But no matter what it is, when life knocks you down, pick yourself up when you fall, brush yourself off, and continue on your path. You must not ever let life win. Don't let it break you down, make you accept less, make you quit, make you give up on your dreams, on your goals, on what you want, because it will. Evil lords over us and evil surrounds us. It will try as hard as it can, especially when it sees you rising above the negativity to a higher plane. It will try to drag you back down, and you cannot allow it to do that. And the power to stop it from doing that, to fight back against it, lies in your mind. Your mind is infinitely powerful. That is one of the main things they try to hide from us, the power and the potential of our mind. You can control your thoughts. You can train your mind to work for you. Because when your mind works against you, when you think these negative thoughts, when you think of quitting just for the safety of giving up, the comfort of laying down the burdens and the responsibilities, it all feels so warm and welcoming and inviting and safe, because it is. Your mind's not lying to you. It's protecting you. It's trying to keep you from getting hurt, from putting yourself in danger. But you've got to. You have to be courageous. You have to be a fighter if you want to rise above the negative bullshit in this world. Again, this is truth motivation. We live in an evil world with many tools that are used against you to drop your vibration, to drop your emotions, to mess with you mentally and physically. You can use your mind to fight back against this system. And if you never listen to anything else that I say, listen to this. You are in control of your own life. You, no one else. So own it. Take the wheel of it and steer it where you want it to go, and eliminate from it that which does not add to it. If something is not benefiting you, if something is not helping you grow, become a better person, making you happy, giving you enjoyment, eliminate it from your life. If it's a negative influence, cut it off. If you find yourself feeling bad after you watch the news, quit watching the news. If you have a friend that shits on everything you ever want to accomplish, tells you can't do things, that's not your friend. You can improve your life, but you have to make changes. You have to kill your darlings. You have to make some cuts to some things that you may have grown used to and comfortable with, but are not benefiting you. They're not helping you grow. They're not aiding you on your path. Cut those things out. Train your mind to work for you. Live in your dream. Visualize it. Make it happen by sheer will. Keep moving forward towards what you want. What else is there? Yeah, you could sit on your hands. Yeah, you could do nothing. If you're comfortable, do that. If you want better, you have to push through, and you can get it. You can live your dreams. So thanks for watching this video. And if this message was one that helped you and you thought it was valuable, please share it out so that someone else can hear it as well. Before you leave, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And most important, live your dreams. All right, so that was the video that I wanted to watch with you guys, and the discussion I wanted to have tonight. I felt that was a really good match for it, to reinforce that this is a work in progress. It's ongoing. There is much more to do. And instead of being distracted too much with what seems to be in our way, we need to spend more of our time focusing on our end goals. The struggle is part of it, and it is a necessary part, but it's a journey and a very long one. And it's important to remember that although obstacles will come and go, you shouldn't focus on them too much. And as far as other hot topics that I was going to say but may as well say definitely will come up tonight in our discussion. These things that are going on in the world that I mentioned earlier, most of them are distractions of a desperate, dying system. But we will be talking about them. We will be going into them. I have some things picked out I want to discuss. And I'm sure you do too. I'm sure there's a lot of things you want to get into and go over. But I want to look at what you're talking about too and see what's going on, what you have to say. Please let me know anything. Thank you guys for sharing the links to Rumble. This is our first night over there, and it's actually going pretty good so far, I think. For our first night, there was 14 on Rumble when I was over there. And there was 14 here on Facebook at the same time. So it's not pulling in the statistics, and it's not pulling in the comments. I can see that. But I think those are kinks still work out. It's in the beta right now, and we're just jumping in there. We're trying it out. I want to get in there and see if it works. You got to try everything. You got to keep pushing. Go around your obstacles, Don't let them stop you. Aaron says we have high vibes and protection, but don't get complacent. They put here catching people slipping. There are core beliefs and values hold true. Everybody can get caught slipping. I've been caught slipping for sure. That's all right. You're going to get tricked. Everything's a lie. Of course you are. It's unrealistic to think you won't, but you don't have to buy in. And when you're wrong, you can own it, move forward, learn from it. And that's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about tonight. Like I said, we're going to talk about these other things, these things going on, but in a real way, looking at them as what they really are. Distractions from what's real and what we really need to focus on. So that's the way we'll be talking about it. Be a little different than news night, but there's still going to be some news stories. Like I said, I'm checking the comments now to see what you guys have been talking about. And that is one of my favorite videos. And like I said, the videos live on Gab TV right now, but I'll probably be putting more on the Rumble channel and focusing more on it because it was an investment to use Rumble. Since they're in the beta stage, in order to stream there, you have to upgrade to the standard program, which is $25 a month. But I felt like it was a good investment to make in the show, and that's what you got to do. So we're trying to grow it, and that's the only way to go. But you can help with that in many different ways. Lori mentioned Dr. Squatch. The only reason why, Lori, that I haven't been pushing that super hard, we are an affiliate for Dr. Squatch now. The only reason why I haven't really been focusing on that super hard is it's one that I don't really truly understand completely what I'm supposed to be doing other than giving out links. And two, I have no idea what I actually get from it yet. So far, 26 of you have clicked my links, but apparently I need a purchase to get a commission off of. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure. I'm still learning that. But yeah, we're an official affiliate. I do need to make the Wash Your Ass shirt. I got to get that out there. People want that shirt. And Danon made a request for a new shirt. Sprinkle some cannabis on it. I like to say that. Hey, Riley, how are you? What's up, Riz? A lot of people came in during the video on Facebook. Again, I'm sorry to Rumble that your comments aren't pulling in. I'll be checking in with that afterwards. And the thank you so much for turning out, and I'm sure they'll work those kinks out and get that all ironed out in the end. This is the link, though. Oh, I already gave it to you. Okay, cool. I put the link in the comments to our Gab TV channel. You can find us over there at TSYS on Gab TV. So if you want to search it, but I put the link there. I just don't think it sent it over to Rumble. Trisha says that she got her training on the astral plane decades ago. Laugh at the bitches or just tell them to fuck off and they disappear. Well, they're just looking for a receiver for their negative shit. And don't be it. You don't have to. A lot of times, and this is really good advice, you should think, and ask yourself, does this situation really even require a reaction from me? Do I even need to react to this? Is it necessary? Does it even affect me? A lot of times the answer is going to be no, and that's going to free you up for more important things that really matter and do affect you. So I think that's a better way to focus, and that's where I'm going to focus and where I think we should focus. And as far as the show itself, I think I want to focus more on us being leaders and taking our roles. So as I said, I had some stuff to talk about with the news. I'm sure you do too, and things that are going on in the world. We have people here from all over the world, and we'll talk about all of that, but in a real way. I know, Joan, I just don't know how much. You know what I mean? I just haven't learned it. It's my fault, and I want to move on. I'll learn it, I promise. I'm sorry. I hope not. That's what I hear. I hear Rumble is a good place, and they don't censor, and I hope this live streaming really works out there, and they catch on and really get it going. So I'm excited. I would also like to see Gab add live streaming, because we need that for what we do. Riley says, cling to anything that makes you feel in control, right? I use my Sharpie in a clutch. I've rubbed the words off of it. That's what I'm always fidgeting with. But Joan says, lately people have been putting her in a corner and forcing her to react. That'll happen at times, But as much as you can, avoid the negative bullshit. The things you can do, like turning off your TV. It's a big one. Getting away from that entirely. All kinds of things. Focusing on it mostly. Like that phenomenon, I don't even know what it's called. There's a word for it. But when you buy like a yellow car and you see yellow cars everywhere, kind of like that. What you train your mind to focus and look for is what it's going to find. And if you leave it to its own devices, it'll find what it wants. I mean, in the same way, like anything you fidget with would give you some kind of a feeling of control of the situation. I'm controlling this Sharpie, and this Sharpie ain't doing nothing that I don't want it to do. Not a single thing. I would never get that. Ever. But I don't think anybody here would. I was watching a doctor before the show that was talking about the ivermectin, that they're shaming the shit out of everybody for using because it happens to be popularly used as a veterinary drug. Yeah, and you know what? The local vet here, I live in the country, Cornfield, Missouri. Our local vet, he uses it. It works. That's the thing. I don't give a shit that it's commonly used on animals. It's effective. And they don't want to hear that shit because you know what? They're not able to do this if there's a treatment. So they don't want there to be. They don't want to hear nothing about that shit. And they want to shame the shit out of everybody because, oh my God, you want to take a horse pill? You're an idiot. There's times when, for various reasons, poor people, for instance, go to a vet to get medicine. It happens in reality. Tricia says, what does it tell you that ivermectin is an anti-parasite drug and it works? It doesn't tell me a whole lot. People are afraid of me giving medical advice. We get taken down for it on YouTube all the time. You're not allowed to speak out in any way about this because you're harmful medical misinformation. I'm really not. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert. I'm not giving you anything but my opinion, my views, and from what I've seen and what I've found and what I've heard, plenty of reason not to trust what's going on. Minimal. Every organization that's giving you information, as far as the mainstream goes, is demonstrably deceitful. Always. Not sometimes, not every once in a while, not sometimes they get it wrong, but man, they own it. Never, no, always lying to you. And again, like I always say, if the science was so sound, you wouldn't care that I was speaking out about it. You wouldn't care that anybody was. It would stand up for itself. If it was really safe and effective, as they repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, like you do with good propaganda, if it really was, it would sell itself. It wouldn't have to give you donuts and lap dances and lottery tickets and all this shit, or mandate it at all. Everybody would beg for it, especially if there was a real fear. Like, again, I don't know a lot. I was just listening to this doctor, and as he was saying, and they've said themselves, this is much more contagious maybe, but it is less of a risk to people. It's less dangerous. And the numbers are inflated anyway, so we know all that. That'll affect some of the things we have to talk about, but we understand what's going on there, I think. Most of us do anyway. Bayless was reminding me earlier because I was talking about something totally different. A video we're working on for Conspiracy Theories and Chill, actually. And she was saying I needed to give more backstory. And I'm like, well, a lot of the people that are going to be watching this video actually already know most of that. She's like, well, what about new people that might watch it? And I guess I got to do a little of that, but it's going to be quick. I want to start talking to people that already know, the people that would do something with the information. I think there's been enough people tell it to you. It's everywhere. It's out there. I want to start talking more about how to use it, what to do with it. No, we wouldn't be. We'd be in agreement out of necessity. If there was a terrifying, frightening event happening, they wouldn't need to push it. We'd beg for it. But, if that was the case and you really did need it, it would be priced out of your reach. You wouldn't be able to get it. That's just the reality of the situation, as unfortunate as it is. It's the situation. Whoops. It's the situation we live in. But again, like I said, we're going to talk about this in a positive way. And the good news is, most of that is bullshit. Circling back to what we were talking about earlier, when you look out your window, unless you're in the cities, please get out of cities. If you're in the cities, don't be in the cities. You don't want to be there. Not a good place to be. I'm very lucky to be where I am, but it'll eventually get to me too. But the world outside my window, anyway, is very different from the one on TV, especially when it comes to the illness, whatever that's going on, and anything else, really. Always has been. Right now, especially, it's never been thrown on this heavy as far as I've ever seen, but always. Sandy says that she heard on the other day that Dovik is a disease, pushing the word disease a lot lately. I don't have any personal opinions on Dovik other than what they've done with it is bullshit. And the agenda that they're pushing forth and what they're trying to do behind it is frightening, to say the least. Joan says, isn't it funny that it's only the past weeks that they are now saying don't use it, after praising it for the last year and a half by so many doctors? I have seen a lot of positive talk about this. Only recently, she's right, and they've been heavily shaming people for it. It works. It's effective. And that's proven. They don't want any treatment known because they can't push it. Couldn't have done any of this if there was a treatment. So they have to make sure there isn't. That's a downside of looking out the window or looking up. Riley was talking about, or Riz, I'm sorry, Riz. I mean to misquote who you were. You're currently Riz. She's talking about the chemtrails in the sky, the unnatural cloud formations made by these chemtrails that spread out and make the sky a cloudy haze that no one notices because they don't even look up. And they've been trained that it's normal. It's crazy. It's insane. But this is an agenda 1,000 years in the making. And like I was saying about your own personal journey, no matter what it may be, from small to big picture, anything you're trying to do or changes you're trying to make, you have to look at the end. It's a long journey. Things are going to get in your way. You're going to fall over and over again. It's part of progress, part of the struggle. You have to do it in order to move forward. So don't focus on those. Focus on where you're going. That's how you do it with anything. And that's how we'll do it with this. Marie says, whatever. It's not. They lie and say that. They don't even use that word, though. They use a different word, efficacy, which don't exactly mean the same thing. This doctor was talking about that too. There's a lot of this is twisted and manipulated, but I understand that. Well, yeah, of course, Patricia. This and many, many, many other things. For instance, one of the first news stories that I picked out was to talk about what's going on in Afghanistan. And there's many ways we can go with that. What I had picked out anyway was the G7 world leaders or whatever, these other globalists that are telling them to extend the amount of time they're going to take to withdraw, to not do it by the 31st. And then, I plan to talk to you a little bit about all that, and we still will, but it's bullshit too. But that has been also from the very beginning of it. Not the withdrawal, all the way from the beginning, from the reason we even went and have been there all this time. It had nothing to do with Tim Osmond and 19 terrorists. It's not it at all. They lie all the time and always have and always will. That's their strategy. What are you talking about, Nora? Toilet paper? You think shit's about to hit the fan in that way again? We're going to get that real? When it really gets serious, sheep buy the hell out of toilet paper. So, we talk about wash your ass a lot. If you want to wipe your ass, I'd have a little bit on hand because they go nuts. I don't know what they plan to do with it, whether they're going to eat it or use it to write novels like in prison. They write on the toilet paper and they don't have paper. Whatever they plan to do with it, I wouldn't even attempt to guess, but they love it. So Alice says, anyone remember the last time they felt comfortable? I do. Today, actually. And all the time anymore, really. This shit does creep in. That's why we continually work on ourselves. You have to work on your mindset and what you focus on, what you look at. Because a lot of this shit, it's being pushed to the top by all the bullshit artists, is a distraction. It's theater, an illusion. And it really doesn't have any power over you other than what you give it. We can function independently of it. Like, really, I don't have to go through any of these stories, but I kind of wanted to, just to make the point that there's a positive spin to all of them if you really look at the reality of the situation, especially considering that, for the most part, things really aren't getting worse. They're just being exposed, whether they're exposing it themselves through incompetence and stupidity, or we're doing a good job, whatever's happening, it's just being exposed at a higher volume. As their speed increases, so does the awakening. It's just a weird time to be alive, but you can't really judge anything on that. It's just craziness. So it's hard to gauge anything, really. And I believe that's probably true, Patricia. I don't know for a fact Again, I'm not a medical expert. I don't want to be taken down for medical misinformation. You see what I'm saying? Fine line, not a doctor. I do a lot of research in this field, and I feel that that's probably accurate, that it does have chakras. It's an important research field, but I'm an independent researcher. I have no real training. This is out of love and passion for the science of it. I don't know. Let's ask the Magic 8 Ball. I'm not sure, but this doctor explained it way better than I could even attempt to right now. And they are different. So it's not exactly what it means, just like the other terms and the changing of what terms mean in order to fit this agenda. The G-spot? Riz says 7 seals and 7 chakras. Well, I feel like even not knowing that, I have maneuvered around it quite well. So now that I do know it, my game's going to step up. It's kind of like when a basketball player learns that dribble between their legs and it opens up all these other doors. They're like, I can break somebody's ankle with this move. That's how I feel now. I learned so much. It's a learning experience, really, hanging out with you guys. Marie says, no IMF. What the Taliban, North Korea, Russia, Venezuela, Syria have nothing. What the Syria have in common is they don't use the world banks. Only thing halting the takeover. Nothing's halting anything, I don't think. It'll be like pieces on a board they just haven't kicked over yet. How much resistance really could all of those countries together put up if they united right now and went to war? It's just as ridiculous as the Taliban making threats. Get your ass out of here by August 31st. It's a show. You think we accidentally left them all that equipment and military hardware? That's a show. It's all fucking fake. All of it. Patricia says, not an Oriental lick master from the Far East. Wait, what are we even talking about? Wait, hold on. Wait, what do you think I'm talking about? I don't know that we're talking about the same thing. You guys might be in some kind of a gutter. I don't know. I'm afraid to know where you're dragging me. Patricia says that Gary Merck has issued a jihad against TP at his place. Has a bidet. He believes in squirting your ass. I've heard that those are nice. I don't know about all that, though. You know, that's not the way I was raised. I was raised different than that. I'm from a simple time. The other thing, I was going to show these, but it's probably better I don't, since we have to baby talk and talk in code to even discuss most of this. Dr. Fraudshi has predicted now that the Dovik is going to be around till spring of 2022. And that is only best case scenario, of course. But at the same time, they are shaming other people for saying that. There will be more and more and more of this. Just pointing out the logical, what's right in front of your face. For pointing that out, they're calling them fear porn. They're spreading fear porn and they're being shamed and silenced. Any dissent. But this is a creative way of accusing your enemy of what you're doing again, which they do all the time. But they're saying that people are saying, hey, look, there's been this, and this happened. So that logically means this probably will happen. They've openly talked about it. They've exercised it in war games, and they've laid it all out before you that they expected to. There's even names for the next variations. Don't say that, though, because that's fear porn. They're not ready for that yet. They're not ready to tell you that yet. Show people shit before we're ready to do it. Yeah, shut that shit up. Gary says he wasn't raised that way either, but once you get used to it, there's no going back. And the toilet paper, probably even my beloved brand Fiora, which I thought is something I found and discovered myself and is cheap for whatever reason, despite being fantastic, I feel only because it's a Mexican brand. He says even that one probably is filled with chemicals and this is definitely true, will lead to the demise of natural forests. Should be using hemp toilet paper. If Terry's here, he'd tell me that. And he's right. He's right to tell me that. Yeah, I know. I couldn't remember. Joan, thank you. It's documented by what, Riley, if you're here still? The World Bank, right? To last until, isn't it March of 23? And then there's another one that's planning to roll out. I covered it on the ShawnYankeyShow.com. What's my memory is, well, it's not bad, actually, my memory. I question it often, but it's actually pretty good. I'm wanting to say SPARS is one of the names of the next ones they plan. And the WHO came out and said it's going to make whatever the next one is, whether it be that one or not, it's going to make this all look like child's play. And since they designed it, you have to wonder, what would happen with a stronger one that was actually dangerous. I knew the numbers were messed up in my head. 2025, they say, for this one, this particular one. It's interesting. That's a long time to string it out. There was that movie, Songbird, that talked about the 23rd variation going on during its timeline. This particular reporter was writing an article, I guess, for RT. I don't know. That's who was covering the story, but they're shaming them and saying they push fear porn, trying to get them canceled and fired or whatever, eliminate them, for talking about a 22 of the Dovik. What happened to freedom of the press? Can't you talk about that shit? From what I understand, it was an opinion piece. It's like, this is an opinion show, but I'm not allowed to talk about it either. It's very interesting. Marie disagrees and says that Dovik ends on the 23rd of March. Interesting number combination. I can get behind it just based on the numerology, and that SPARS is scheduled to begin in May of 25. So whoever's right, you're either going to need a bidet or some hemp toilet paper. I can no longer support even my beloved Fiora, and I shouldn't even really until I become an affiliate, like I am for Dr. Squatch. And later, remind me, I'll get you a link. Maybe if you want to get some good soap and you want to get me a cut, you can go there and buy some. 2 birds, 1 stone. And it's excellent soap. It's great. I even washed a kitten with it today. I'll tell you more about that later if you want. She likes it. Her mama? No, not a fan of bass at all. Put up a pretty big fight. But the kitten, she really likes it. I don't either. And no good detective does believe in coincidences. There's really no such thing. When too many of them start lining up, you have to acknowledge it. You have to. It's ignorant not to. They'll shame you just for thinking. They shame the shit out of you. Something I found interesting, and maybe anybody here who does have more information about this as far as medically goes, Dovik cases are on the rise in Israel, one of the most juiced up places on the planet, right? They have the highest percentage of people with the juice. Over 80%, I read. They are also the place where the most cases, biggest surge of cases is happening with the Dovik. Odd to me. It's a little bit weird. Marie says, off topic, she just watched a series called Upload on Amazon Prime. Last night, William B. Davis, Smoking Man from X-Files, is on it, played a Koch brother who eats endangered rhino steaks. Sounds like a good show. There's another one on Amazon with John Cusack we were talking about something similar to what's going on right now. And he's playing like a Gates type character in it. I can't remember the name of that. And I don't know if I said it or not, but that movie I was talking about earlier was Songbird that recently came out. I think it had to be more in it. Riz says that we have some dates here, some predictions from the Silent Truther. October is when she's predicting it's going to kick off. The stars align, same as the 1776 revolution. And you watch, shit's going to happen, she says. Interesting. Yeah, that's it, Lolly. Thank you. Utopia. That looks good. I want to watch that. Maybe I should get me some Amazon Prime. I really don't want to give them any money, but maybe a month's worth just to watch those two shows. Can't hurt nothing, right? Who's going to get hurt? Worst thing that'll happen is Jeff Bezos will pretend to go to space again. Oh, it's on Netflix. I have that. Problem solved. I was worried too. Did y'all see, and I don't know a lot, don't push me for details, but the House has passed a $3.5 trillion blueprint for this Biden money they're wanting. And I don't know what stage they're at now, but didn't this start off at $1.5 trillion? How has it grown by 2? Does anybody understand that one? Or am I following the wrong shit? Or are they lumping other things together? But I thought, if they're talking about the infrastructure bill, is that what they're talking? Yes, the infrastructure bill is now to $3.5 trillion. Am I wrong in my memory that it started at 1.5? No, they're not, Lee. And I talked about that a bit earlier, and I think that that's something that Rumble will fix. Now, I was going to try, and I will get better at pulling this off, moving back and forth between the Rumble feed and the studio here so that I could see the comments and interact with Rumble a little bit. But I didn't get kicked. Nothing happened other than user error. I kicked myself. And earlier you might have heard it when I tried to get back in. There it is again. But looks like 3 are there right now. At the highest point that I saw, there was 14. But I feel like they'll work that out. I feel like they'll get the kinks worked out. Because why they're not pulling in is there's no ready-made option for Rumble. They're new to this as far as streaming goes, live streaming. And you have to enter it all by our TMP link, which I don't know a whole lot about either. Don't push me. But since I have to do that, they don't have a partnership, I guess, with them. And then the connection isn't there for that kind of stuff. Like the stats don't pull in either. Good night, Nora. Have a good night. Patricia says they keep so many rings going in that clown show. I've stopped trying to keep up. And there's really no reason to. Which I'm kind of glad we didn't actually dive into any of those news stories. Because there's really no reason to. And that was going to be my point with them anyway. Is that, yeah, their system's falling apart. But it's by design. It's supposed to. It's part of their plan. They intend for it to. They're going to drive it forward. Really can't do much about that, but watch it burn. What happens after is what we have control over and are going to be able to do something about. Patricia says a quote from the William B. Davis character is, okay, you were about to disrupt the $6 billion industry and nobody murdered you? Right? That's always what I say about Trump. People think that he's some kind of hero. Or they're applying these same characteristics now to DeSantis. This would be a good example. When he becomes a real problem, they'll eliminate him. Especially anybody that would reach any level of status or power. If they were really a problem, they would be eliminated. That's what they do. That's how they do it. And how they've kept their control. Whether it be somebody that's trying to teach you about love, it could be that simple. Teaching you to think, or talking about things they don't want talked about in a way they don't want talked about. A lot of them don't care if you talk about it, as long as you're not really hitting the nail on top of the head. As long as you're not really nailing it or delivering it in a way where people will take it in. You combine those two things, you get too dangerous, take you out. Patricia says they just made weed legal everywhere. When you'd have to be on speedball 24/7 to keep up with what's coming. It's happening so fast. That's true. But not yet everywhere, sadly, and not at the federal level. Much more to be done there. Another positive fight you could take up. Everyone needs access to cannabis, which is medicine, as everyone knows. And I got something I want to tell you later. I have made progress in our investigation into the difference between Illinois and Missouri cannabis. I'm going to discuss all that and more with you in just a little bit. But I just want to look more through the comments, see what you guys are talking about. Marie, I'm seeing this. Marie says that the mainstream media is starting to throw Biden under the bus more and more. And where's Kamala? Hiding from the cameras, interestingly enough. But when they do put her on camera, she can't stop that evil jackal laugh. I don't understand that shit at all, really. I don't know why she can't train herself out of that shit. I'm so sorry, Lee and Night Owl. You guys have been commenting over on Rumble. I feel bad, but again, I feel like that's something they'll fix. And usually all of the comments pull into the studio, but I will also get better at checking in over here with you guys and seeing what you're talking about too, so I can involve you. Even though I won't be able to show it on the screen, I can still make you part of the discussion. And that's what this show is. If you're new, since we're on a new platform, it'd be a good opportunity to say this again. Every night, we have a discussion. We have different themes, like Monday's news, Tuesday night's motivation. Tomorrow night will be conspiracy theories and chill. We do that every Wednesday. Thursday night's rant night. Friday nights, I usually have a guest. I try to anyway, every Friday as much as I can. If I don't, we do something else interesting or fun. This Friday will be Nick Stinson. She's coming back to the show. And we do that every night, every day, Monday through Friday anyway, at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then on Tuesday mornings, this will be on here now too, on Rumble, is the Morning Yank. And I want to tell you something else about the Morning Yank as far as podcast goes. I don't know if you listen to it as a podcast, but it's excellent, by the way. You should, if you don't. And you can also listen to it on your drive to work. It's great. Anyways, because of investing in the Rumble, and that drives up our cost of doing this a little more, we're going to have to make a little cut somewhere. And I can upload for free where I put this particular show, the Shawn Yankey Show, as a podcast on Anchor. And it'll go out to Spotify, Google Podcasts, all these other places. And that's free. But Podbean gives you access to iHeartRadio, which, as you know, my partner on the Morning Yank, Paul, that was his big thing. He wanted to be on iHeartRadio and also iTunes, but I was never able to figure out iTunes. And that's user error. That's my fault. But it gives you access to those two. Anchor does not. But, we'll go back. Right now, it's $14.99 a month. And, not that that's so crazy. It's just a lot of this adds up. There's a lot of little expenses. You'd be surprised. So I'm going to try this and see how that works. But I think I'm going to move the Morning Yank podcast over with this show on Anchor and Spotify and all those places. See how that goes. Try that out. I've won some sort of trophy. I feel I should take a moment to accept it, but thank you. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate you guys hanging out and being so damn cool tonight. I was a little distracted. I hope it didn't come through, trying to pay attention to the new platform. It's a little different setting up over there. But again, that too, I think, will become more user-friendly. A neat little thing they do is you set up a 60-second video, which I'll make a cooler one. Right now, I just threw one together, but a 60-second video that will play in loop that people can watch before your show starts. That's a little neater than the reminder post. A lot of cool things. So there's a lot of good on the horizon there, I think. It'll be cool. It's weird that there's two different live chats. I'm looking at Rumble trying to keep back and forth. There's the comments down here, and then there's the ones that say live chat. And good point, Night Owl. Don't forget to Rumble and subscribe while you're here on Rumble. If you're here checking out the show, hit those buttons. Forget that. Well, they say that does help, and it does help to decalcify your pineal gland as well. Cannabis, I believe, is a miracle medicine put here by God for all of humanity, and to keep it from anybody is criminal. It's a crime against humanity, and it's also very useful. It's cousin as well, and as we were talking about earlier with the toilet paper, there's a lot of things that you don't need to use these trees for, and the deforestation doesn't need to happen. Could all have been happening with hemp, and could have been happening for a very long time. But it's not the way the moneyed interests wanted it. And as long as they're allowed to stay in control, things will stay the way they want them. But we're going to change all that shit. That's what we talk about every Tuesday. Trisha wants to know if I ever saw that guy on Twitter, last name Snow, and it looked real as fuck. Did not see that. You have reptile eyes? Now I'm looking. That's weird. I'm gonna have to look sideways at you right now. That's a lot to admit, but I'm happy that you owned up to it. There was a Bible quote before we switch gears and start talking about anything. I want to hang out with you guys for a little bit. And we haven't done that in a while, so I want to talk about whatever you want, really. But it's from Timothy 1:7, and it says, "For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline." I thought that was a really good quote to end out the message today about what I was trying to say, that if you put in the work and the determination and have that core belief that you can make a difference and can make change, you can. Is that my man, Clinton? I haven't seen you in forever, man. How have you been? What's going on? I want to hear about it. You got to message me after the show, get in touch with me. I want to talk to you anyway about coming on again. It's been a while since we talked to you. Everybody misses you here, but I miss you. I know you've been busy, but you're going to have to take a moment to say hi. Lee says, amen. And I'll add to that. Amen, brother. Clinton says, I hear the brain has receptors in it. There's a lot of interesting things about the brain, about all of reality that are hidden from humanity, especially our true potential. But just talking about the Montauk subject again, to bring that up, as you know, we're working on that. They were working with that stuff, manipulation with that stuff. I, for instance, was looking into the Montauk chair. I'm looking to cover that. And that's all that is manipulating things with your mind. They were able to put things up onto a computer screen and then also issue commands into a computer and make a person, operate a person like a puppet. There's a lot of interesting things they were playing around with. Right? Yes, absolutely. Clinton's great and a hero around here. There was a debate that I was on, and actually it's been an ongoing drama bullshit situation ever since, honestly, but I don't want to get into that too much or rehash it. Anyways, Clinton was on the same show, and I left the show. Clinton stuck around, kicked a bunch of ass, and became a hero around here because he's awesome. He's also a close friend, and I haven't heard from him in a while. Everything's good, and miss your favorite truth theorist. Well, I hope that's me, man. I'm doing my best. I'm trying. The big thing, the one thing that I can promise you to any new viewers that are taking in the show for the first time is integrity, and I will own it. I always try to deliver, first off, a great show, a high quality product, but something with integrity and value. I want it to be useful, and I stand behind what I say. And if I'm wrong, I will correct it, and it won't be buried. I'll own it. Anybody that's been with me a while has seen me evolve quite a bit, actually, and own it every time I'm wrong. I'm wrong all the time, and it's okay. Again, we were talking about this earlier, being tricked. Happens. Just own it. Learn from it. That's how you grow. I think it's the best way to be. Aaron says, it's like all the criminal high profiles all crawled in a pit to hide from the media. Well, she is the acting president. I don't know if that's who you're talking about right now, but Kamala, she's the acting president of the United States. She made the call in Afghanistan, actually. She speaks to world leaders on the president, where the president would usually do it, all kinds of things. You know that Biden isn't, right? He can't even speak. What could he possibly be running? He gets confused and lost all the time. Mid-sentence, in a situation where he's reading off a teleprompter, he loses his train of thought. is directly told not to answer questions. They move him out of situations where he might speak for himself. And anytime he does get captured doing it, it's it's epic and embarrassing at the same time. So he's not the real president, nor was he elected. She is the Illuminati princess. Paul was theorizing this morning on the Morning Yank that she's MK Ultra. It's not even that crazy. I don't know that I fully agree, but it's not that crazy. That shit still goes on, as does most of that stuff. Like we were talking, or I was talking about with Zach today, my son, the MK Ultra and Montauk itself really didn't begin then even. It was way before that. And then if you trace it back to the Nazis, it even goes before that and back further. Especially some of the practices, like trauma-based mind control, is much older. It's been used and going on for a long time. These same kind of experiments and the same kind of technology and things like that. And it's just hidden the truth of things. And again, I think that's how these ancient societies were able to do a lot of the things we can't explain. Because we're not looking at it right. Because we're not even looking at reality right. Buying into a massive lie. Alice says she's a clone from the tunnels. I got to hear more about this. Are you talking about the underground domes and bases and cities that they have? Those tunnels or other tunnels? Like dark tunnels. Tunnels a jackal like her might be found in. Where you'd expect to find that anyway. That laugh is crazy. That's scary even. It is really frightening. Especially when you consider who she is and the status that she's actually in. Almost like Dick Cheney during George W.'s presidency, but worse. George W. was a bumbling idiot at times, but I don't think he was mentally unfit. I don't think he would get lost, for instance, if you left him. If they'd have just walked away from Biden at that hardware store, for instance. I think George W. could make it home. Biden, I'm not so sure. So it's even worse. Clinton says, dude, China met with the Taliban a week later. Joe handed over Afghanistan plus tons of equipment. Too easy to be a coincidence. I've heard very high numbers about the value of the hardware we left with the Taliban. And it's mind-blowing. And just individual shit like Black Hawk helicopters or AR-15s, just the amounts and the numbers rattled off. But the dollar amount is staggering and ranges to pretty high amounts, especially when you factor in how you're never going to hear the real one. When you add in dark money and all this other shit, what did we really leave there? Ridiculous. Probably every structure and underground shit and things they never told anybody about as well. Patricia says, Cam honestly looks like Obama's sister to me, and I think his father was a cult leader in Indonesia. I don't know. The thing I know the most about is I'm being lied to on a massive scale. Joe says, God helps those who help themselves. Evil people are winning because they are helping themselves. And evil helps evil. They unite. They are united in their agenda and what they're trying to do. Even if they have individual goals, or see themselves as the one on top in the end, they're working together. That's the part. That's where they get us. That's what they have over us. They are united. We need to get that down. We have the numbers already. If we could unite, we need to do amazing things before this even comes to its head. Stop it right now. It's the uniting we need to get right. Alice says nukes likely. Hell, it wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. It really wouldn't. But it also shouldn't surprise anyone that the Taliban is most likely, they're in their upper management and their higher levels of leadership in our pocket and on our payroll anyway. They work for us. Always have. We made them, named them, put them together, used them over and over again, armed them, and just did it again. Aaron said it's worth more on the streets and black market, and not just weaponry, but technology as well. And again, most of it they're not going to tell you the truth about. So untold amounts of hardware and resources left with them. Oh, I already played that one or looked at that one. Lee is reacting to this right here. Slay says the only red button that Joe can push is his life alert. That's funny and true. He's not in charge of shit. He's not in charge of shit. He is a mouthpiece and a frontman for a corporation, which is all any president has been for a very long time. It's just he is to a level that's never been done before. Just an idiot. Just it's elder abuse, really, what they're doing to him, but not even of sound mind that they just push out in front of cameras and blame shit on. And when there's been too much blamed on him and too much public outcry, they'll throw him into the bus and replace him with Kamala, which is the plan and has been the plan all along. And then when she has served her purpose and her use is over, they'll get rid of her too. Give a shit about their puppets. Once they've fulfilled their use, they'll retire them to pasture and make them lobbyists or some other media job, cush position, or just an outright buyout, and move on to another puppet. Well, you know what? His butt's been wiped. That's one thing about President Biden that we can all rest assured of is he's being well taken care of. His butt is well wiped, and he makes sure everybody knows it. He's very proud of the care that he is receiving. I still think it's elder abuse what they're doing to him. Patricia says there's a video of Biden saying that he'd have become a corporate whore a lot sooner. If they'd have had him, he would have to prove himself first. Kennedy had to con him. He's not lying to you again. I think a lot of truth slips out of Joe's mouth on accident. It's a big reason why they don't want him talking. And Alice, they are canceling America. America is on its way out. Our way of life and the way we know it to be anyway. Especially these things we call freedoms, which really I think they just haven't told us yet. They're gone anyway. Gave them all up. But they don't really have them, and what they're using to take them is all bullshit. We don't have to allow it, but it's in their agenda, and always has been, for America to fall. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. While we're talking and kicking stuff around, I am going to go get you a coupon. Because like I said, I am an official affiliate. Got a sponsor. Paul announced that he's got a sponsor now too. But I don't like Paul's sponsor, and I don't want to talk about it. Paul's on his own there. He's going to have to push that himself. I can't get behind it. He has aligned himself with the beast and the beast system. I can't support that. But, he's rich, and I don't really think he's doing it. I really don't. I think what he's doing is, a little bit of bullshitting in order to stay safe and stay under the radar. Not get his door kicked in, mattresses slipped over, and all of his riches taken. That's really what he's trying to do. I understand it. If I had $7 $30,000 guitars, I'd be worried about who I pissed off too. But I've kept my taste in guitars very modest. I hardly have any. All right. That was enough buying of time to find this link. This is a link. This is what I get. I really don't, like I said, don't fully understand this or how it works. This is a link that you go and click this link. I know it doesn't really look official, but I swear to you, it takes you right to Dr. Squatch. It just gives me credit for you going there. And if you make a purchase of more than $20, you can get 10% off if you enter this coupon code that I'm about to give you once that comment's done loading into the thing. Hey, Gerard, how are you? Good to see more people coming in even. Forgot, I didn't see. Oh, you're on Facebook. Okay, cool. This coupon code right here. This will get you 10% off. Some sweet soap. Great stuff. I definitely can vouch for it. I use it every day. Lee says China has been offering the Taliban a loan for infrastructure. Oh, yeah. Why not? You know the resources that are there. But do you think we're done? I don't. I don't. I think we're just going home for some shit and coming right back. And they set this up for that. They're not done in the Middle East. They're not done with their agenda. We haven't went to a war with Iran yet. That's where this is ultimately heading. Where they've wanted to go for a long, long time. Why would they give up on that? It's weird. Joe asked what you see, or said what you see on the mainstream media about the Taliban or anyone else being against us is a shit show. Distractions to keep us from getting together and figuring out how to wake people up. And that's true. That is absolutely true. Another good point, Patricia. We've been a corporation since then, since 1871. That was something, this is funny, I've told this story more than once, but my son told that to his teacher. You know, I did a video on it. So he saw it and he was like, is that real? And we talked about it, and he went to school and told his teacher. And his teacher was like, that's not true. Just didn't even say, hey, let me look that up. Outright, that's not true. But Zach held his ground, told him, go ahead and Google it. So he did. It turned out he found out, as we all know, that it is true. I'm sure he felt like an ass, but most teachers don't ever question what they're told. And that's how this lie grows and survives. Nobody does. You're shamed from thinking. Aaron doesn't give Biden but 4 more weeks till he blanks out on air. He almost feels bad for the creature. I almost do too, but he's a horrible person. That's what soothes me. It keeps me from feeling too bad. Gerard says the bankers and corporations have already won in Afghanistan, everywhere really. The true owners never lose. They play both sides of everything and always have. They'll move on and colonize another nation, you're right, and rape the resources. Business as usual. Nothing will change at all till we change it. But that's what we talk about every Wednesday, is we're gonna. We will and are. The reason they're acting so erratically is because of the strides forward that we've already made. And again, I feel we've had and do have the numbers needed. All we really need to do is master this uniting thing that they are very well, are very good at, is what I meant to say. It should have been. It was meant to be. It is. But I'd be lying to you. Again, it's truth, motivation. I'm doing motivation. I'm being positive, telling you the truth at the same time. I'm not going to lie to you. Shit's going to get ugly. You know, the vice president of the United States was telling people to go ahead and buy their Christmas presents. Go ahead and get them now. And you're being told by a lot of different outlets and sources, in different ways even, that shit is getting ready to get rough. So minimal. You got to at least point that out. But again, don't focus on the struggles or the things that happen along the way. It's a journey. A long journey. And the end goal is where you focus. So it is positive. It's all in how you look at it. It's perspective. That's all. Lolly says, Goo Brain lose his shit at the press. I'm surprised he hasn't threatened to fight anybody in a long time. Any dog-faced pony soldiers, you know, let him run around, needing to be punched. He hasn't offered to punch a single one that I've seen. Slay says they should give him a mask with a hole cut in it so he can still get his ice cream. You know what? Like those masks they make the kids wear in band, you know, and play their instruments through. Or get in a giant tent to play the larger instruments. What's up, Mark? How are you? And you're right, Gerard. It's a lifestyle, the truth, not a destination. You know, a lot of these people get stuck. That happens a lot too. You know, it's not just us having a problem uniting. It's people getting stuck and not being able to move forward. And whatever it is, they get trapped. Well, that's true and it isn't, Patricia. You know, I don't feel like they can kill me at all. I feel protected. Again, perspective. It's just in how you look at it. Jones says they seized the poppy crop and can work with the Mexican cartel to flood the world with heroin. Well, they have a lot of resources as well. It's not just the drug trade, but you're right. That was a big reason for it, and what our soldiers spent a lot of time doing, guarding poppy fields. Why? Well, we know why. Yeah, we're still live, Paul. Are you off work? You're not done? Are you on a break? Paul is remodeling the entire bowling alley. He's got a lot to do. There's no way you're done. He's the most important mechanic doing the most important job at their most important day as they change their entire look. You're really here? Or did you invest in headphones? What has happened? Yeah, we're still live. Still going on, man. Having fun. I'm having a good time. We're working out our new site. I'm trying to learn it anyway. I feel like the comments aren't working because there's 14 here on Rumble right now, it says. But the last comment I see is from Night Owl 62, where she said, "Don't forget to rumble while you're here," which is great advice. Don't forget that. I got to learn to say that too, to rumble instead of like just smashing them shits. That covers everything. I like that one too. I bet it does. You got any pictures? You guys send me some pictures. Paul, for those of you that don't know, is not only the Midnight Rider or Top Fan. He's also Top. He has a lot of different names. He's my partner on the Morning Yank. The Morning Yank is our morning show that we do every Tuesday morning until we're able to do it every day. We do it every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, and it's great. And we did one today. You know, it is Tuesday, but he had to leave early for all this work he had to do. And still, check it out. Check all of them out. They're everywhere that you can get a podcast. So they're on Podbean, iHeartRadio, all these other places. On Facebook, everywhere you're at right now, except Rumble. I got to upload it to Rumble. But you can find it almost anywhere else we are. It's the Morning Yank. Just search it. You're going to love it. It's so great. That's my partner. Patricia says, fentanyl is what's killing most folks. We lost San Diego's Mark Goffney and his ex-wife to that shit. Heartbreaking. I wonder if that's got FDA approval. You posted a bunch. I saw the before pics, but then I started doing this. I've been busy for a little bit. I have been at work. You know, my real job. This is my passion. I know you love your job too. Paul loves his job. He's lucky in that way. You know, if you really love your job, you're never really working. This is my job. I love this job. I got to go to my other job tomorrow. Not looking forward to it. I got to have a difficult conversation about a difficult thing that happened. It's hard to discuss it on air because, you know, you never know who's watching. But you got to meet my boss's boss, which is never good. You don't like that shit. I'm going to stay my ground, but who knows how it'll go. I'm sure everything will be okay, though. Whatever happens, we'll all be fine. Whether it be my day tomorrow or anything else, we're going to be all right. Because we are protected. And we're awesome. A lot of us. Me. I know most of you are. Everybody I see anyway. We're all awesome. We're great. Very smart. And badasses. We're going to be all right. I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. And again, remind you to check out the Morning Yank, but come back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is conspiracy theories and chill. We're going to hang out. We do every Wednesday and talk about conspiracy theories. Anything you want, anything at all. Bring all your favorite conspiracy theories and throw them in the pot, and we'll see what rises to the top. I want to talk a little about Montauk. That's what I'm working on. But anything. Come back for that. And then, like I said, Friday night, Nick Stenson will be back to the show. Don't miss that. Lots coming up this week. Every night at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the next episode. Have a good night.